Hello, my name is Preston Thomas, and this is episode 47 of The Way of Jesus. This episode begins an in-depth description and interpretation of the book of Revelation. It covers the first 6 chapters with a special emphasis on the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The Apostle John wrote the book of Revelation while in exile on the island of Patmos around the year 95 AD. It was a great revelation that recounts John's prophetic vision of events that will take place at the climax of our present Christian age. The book of Revelation is also referred to by the Greek word apocalypse, which means taking away the veil. It signifies the lifting of a veil, which thereby reveals what will take place in the latter days, when the kingdoms of men are destroyed and replaced by the kingdom of God. Chapters 1 through 3 are devoted to 7 messages addressed to 7 churches located in Asia Minor, which is modern-day southwestern Turkey. The end-times prophetic aspects of the book begin with chapter 4. In verse 1 of chapter 4, John sees an open door to heaven. He hears a voice like a trumpet inviting him to come up to heaven, where he will be shown what must take place in the future. John reports, "After this I looked, and lo, in heaven an open door. And the first voice which I heard speaking to me like a trumpet said, 'Come up hither, and I will show you what must take place in the future.'" This sets the stage for John's portrayal of future events that will take place before the coming of the kingdom of God to rule over the kingdoms of men. In chapter 4, verse 2, John is taken up to heaven in the Spirit, and he sees a throne with one seated on the throne. This is the judgment seat, where it is decided who will survive death in the flesh and go forward in the heavenly ascent, and who will not. John states, "At once I was in the Spirit, and lo, a throne stood in heaven, with one seated on the throne. Around this throne are seated 24 elders and 4 living creatures, full of eyes in front and back." John gives this account. Round the throne were 24 thrones, and seated on the thrones were 24 elders, clad in white garments with golden crowns upon their heads. And round the throne, on each side of the throne, are 4 living creatures, full of eyes in front and behind. Revelation chapter 5 opens with John noticing that the archangel on the judgment seat is holding a scroll that is sealed with 7 seals. This scroll, with its 7 seals, reveals what must take place in the future. It details the events and judgments which are coming to the earth. John writes, "And I saw in the right hand of him who was seated on the throne a scroll written within and on the back, sealed with 7 seals." Now a problem arises, because no one in heaven or on earth can be found who is worthy to open the seals. John laments, "And I wept much that no one was found worthy to open the scroll or to look into it." However, the problem is solved when one of the elders announces that Jesus is worthy and can open the scroll and break the seals. John reports, "Then one of the elders said to me, 'Weep not. Lo, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has conquered, so that he can open the scroll and its 7 seals. Jesus takes the scroll from the heavenly being sitting on the throne and opens the seals one by one, John states. He went and took the scroll from the right hand of him who was seated on the throne. Revelation chapter 6 identifies the contents of the first 6 seals. Each of these seals portrays a distinct set of events that take place in the tribulation period leading up to God's final judgment. The 7 seals reveal a progression of increasingly harsh judgments of the secular and evil personages and their followers who have gained control of the earth. The contents of the first 4 seals picture the coming of the famous 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The coming of these 4 horsemen and their activity may be summarized as follows. 1. A conqueror on a white horse appears and goes forth to conquer. 2. A rider of a red horse appears and takes peace from the earth. 3. A rider on a black horse appears and brings inflation, poverty, and famine. 4. A rider on a pale horse appears and brings death, closely followed by Hades, with authority over 1/4 of the earth to kill by sword, famine, pestilence, and wild beasts. John describes the coming of these 4 horsemen as follows. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and its rider had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer. And out came another horse, bright red. Its rider was permitted to take peace from the earth, so that men should slay one another, and he was given a great sword. And I saw, and behold, a black horse, and its rider had a balance in his hand. And I heard what seemed to be a voice in the midst of the 4 living creatures saying, a quart of wheat for a denarius, which was equal to 1 day's work, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius. But do not harm the oil and wine. And I saw, and behold, a pale horse, and its rider's name was Death, and Hades followed him. And they were given power over a 1/4 of the earth, to kill with sword, and with famine, and with pestilence, and by wild beasts of the earth. It is notable that when we combine these 4 horsemen, they reveal a natural sequence of disasters that come to the earth in the latter days. They provide an outline of 4 major tribulations we must endure: conquest, war, famine, and death. This natural sequence of disasters and their climax may be further clarified and explained as follows. The tribulation period opens with the appearance of a rider on a white horse who goes forth to conquer. This appearance of a conqueror naturally results in the taking of peace from the earth. Such war and conflict brings inflation, poverty, and famine. And these first 3 judgments culminate in death, followed by Hades and the killing of many. The rest of the book of Revelation is devoted to detailing particular events that occur as a part of or during these 4 great tribulations. The last chapters of Revelation focus on the end times events of the tribulation period, when the present secular, corrupt, and evil world order meets its defeat and the kingdom of God comes to rule the earth. This concludes episode 47. In the next episode, we will review Old Testament prophecy, especially the book of Daniel, to find references and descriptions of this rider on the white horse, whose appearance initiates the tribulation period. Thank you for watching and listening. Until the next time, may God guide, bless, and comfort you as you courageously face the challenges life brings.